Brake Show.
I'm Richard Porter from Sniff Petrol. Together we are Smith and Sniff.
Where
are we, Jonny?
We are in the Bonhams auction marquee. And this is where, if you've watched these videos before, we grab the extra thick catalogue, we have a goosey gander, put some asterisks round. There's obviously cars for sale, but there's also automobilia for sale, which is what's going on in that corner. Of note, private plates.
Yes.
We have an interesting plate that's going under the hammer.
This is probably the jewel in the crown of the plates, JB1.
Yeah.
What's that guided at?
It's guided at 200,000 to 300,000 quid.
Okay, so Jensen Button's here this weekend. Maybe he might like that.
If he sold some trousers, he could get that.
Blowing his trouser money on a private plate.
Yeah.
I think I saw Jessica Biel over there getting a burger. She might like it.
Touring car hero, Jason Blato.
It's true. You know who's got a few quid and a lot of cars? Jerry Seinfeld. The B is silent. Ultimately, though, when the auction comes around, they will all be vanquished by the plate-hungry news hound, Jeremy Bowen. So let's move on to cars. Lots of cars here.
Yeah.
Jonny, if you had around £40,000, could I interest you in this? It's obviously a Range Rover, but not just any Range Rover, because it is, deep breath, a soft dash LSE autobiography of BRG.
Say that again, that's like a football hooligan chant.
If you don't speak Range Rover, that essentially means soft dash. It's a late model of the classic Range Rover with the later dashboard, a little more squidgy than the early one.
Yeah.
LSE means it's part of the London School of Economics, and also that it's long wheelbase.
Yeah.
And autobiography, in those days, not a trim level like it is now for Land Rovers. It was a department in Land Rover that would make your car to your requirements. So this is in British Racing Green, which was at that point only offered usually on Rover, normal cars, not Range Rovers and Land Rovers. So it's a, as Americans say, one of one.
You were saying one of one, so it really is. Same ownership since 2002, so well over 20 years.
Yes.
This is estimated at 40 to 60k.
Yes.
So this is just before the P38 came out?
Yes.
Right, okay, and that makes it more desirable because P38s aren't collectible yet?
Depends how much you like Range Rovers.
How much do you like Range Rovers?
Quite a lot.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, look, but if you had the same kind of money, but you wanted to look at something else, something smaller, racier, that could go around corners, look this way at lot 119. I love this. 1974 Escort RS2000 saloon touring car.
Yes.
This thing here is from Germany, and I think it's been in competition up until like a couple of months ago.
It won its class at the Nürburgring just last year. So this is an active racing car.
Yeah,
but
in original state.
It's not been created recently to be like this. This is an in-period car, so these broad speed arches are from the 70s. It's proper, this.
It is, it's wonderful.
And this is what, 40 grand as well?
No reserve.
Well, no reserve.
40 to 60k, and I was trying to work out the engine, so it's got a whole bay Warrior 16 valve headed 2.3 litre. Well, that's run only for 10 hours.
Okay. So I get the feeling maybe for £40,000 or thereabouts, I'd have that, you'd have this.
I would have that.
However, if you are neither of us, and you are in fact a disgraced 1970s entertainer with 40 grand to spend, how about that over there?
Oh,
it's a Rolls-Royce Corniche.
Yes.
It's sort of mid-period Corniche. They started in the early 70s, they finished in the early 90s. This is an 81 car. You wouldn't know that though, because it has a non-age plate on it, nice touch.
Yeah, and a massive badge bar. Comprehensive badge bar.
And if you're a fan of wipers on headlights, this is the car for you, I would say. Spend every day pretending to be in the Elton John Nikita video wearing a boater, if you want.
So take your pick out of those three, but next to it, I would just like to draw your attention to this. This is more than 40 grand, but not a great deal more than 40 grand. This is an Aston DB6, and it could be really good value. So this is lot 105. I'm looking through the Bible as we speak, right? What makes this car with a no reserve 70 to 90 grand, which is very cheap for one of these?
Yes.
The answer is not because it's got slightly dodgy paint on one wing.
A couple of rattle cans, that would be all right.
Yeah. It's been the same owner since 94 and it's been laid up since 2003. It's a two-pedal car, it's an auto.
Oh.
And that's what makes it much cheaper. However, a lot of people convert them to manual, which is probably what I would do in an instance like this.
Sorry, what? It's starting at 70?
70,000 quid for a DB6.
Right. And then allocate a bit more money to turn it into a car. That'd be
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
960.
There's something over there that I'd like to show you.
Please show me.
Look at this.
This is phenomenal.
This is an actual Group N Japanese touring car. It's a Skyline GTR, obviously, R33,
Yeah.
V-spec. This, interesting to see it here, I think.
It's amazing. Before we talk about it, yeah, we should say that actually most of this room, most of the Bonhams auction this time around, significantly younger cars.
Yeah.
There's a lot of more 80s, 90s stuff. This is the poster child of all that.
Yes.
And it probably reflects the way the classic car market is going right now.
I think so. So this raced in Japan until 1997.
Yeah.
It had an engine rebuild in 2022, but it hasn't raced since. I don't know there's much you could race it in over here at the moment, but this leads me to think that really we're due a second revival here at Goodwood for 80s and 90s racing cars, and
100%.
this would be absolutely perfect.
Yeah, this stuff is only going to gain in traction and popularity. The road cars are going up in value. This is guided at 100 to 120k. In period, it raced with 450 horsepower, and this engine, like you say, has been rebuilt only a couple of years ago. This is amazing.
It is pretty amazing. It's pretty cool, I think.
And
Speaking of Japan, here's a Ferrari Testarossa. Bear with me. This car was ordered new in Japan, and yet weirdly, it's left-hand drive. They drive on the left. It's seen as sort of more prestigious over there. You'll notice a Japanese spec detail, this black pad here on the back bumper, if you're being really nerdy. This is guided around 60 grand, and a really decent one of these would be 100. So, you know, it needs a little bit of tidying up, but someone might get a bargain, relatively speaking.
see this here. Come through the crowds. It's busy here today in Bonhams. It seems like eons ago in terms of design. This is the first Tesla. This is the Tesla Roadster. This is a 2011 Tesla Roadster, lot 142. Okay, 23,000 mile, one owner car. But of course, Tesla started off adapting a Lotus, which is what this is, with EV drivetrain. Little did we realise that Tesla had become the powerhouse that it is now. Of course, Tesla cars are a little bit divisive. The man in charge is a little bit divisive at the moment. But these at one point were hitting about 100 grand in value. They are quite rare now. This car here is guided 50 to 60,000 quid, and they were 100 grand new. These were. I don't know how many they sold to the UK market, but it's only going to get rarer unless Tesla go bust. I think this is only going to become a rarer, more desirable car as EVs become more and more mainstream. Interesting, but maybe not as cool as something over there that Rich is going to show me.
Yeah, that Tesla's all right, but I hear they can suddenly pull to the right. This, I'm kind of interested in, Jaguar XKRS convertible, a rare car in its own right. They made just under 400 of them, but this is particularly special because it was built for the design director of Jaguar, the man who oversaw the look of this car, Ian Callum. He had it spec'd with the black paint and the red leather interior. It's unique. There isn't another one like this. It has fewer than 30,000 miles on it, guided around 40 grand. So that's nice. But this is even nicer. This is a BMW M3 E36. You probably know that. But it's not just any E36 M3 because this was bought new by an Italian gentleman who lived in London. It's still got its original dealer plates, it's still got its dealer sticker in the back window and its branded tax disc holder. However, the Italian chap then drove it to Italy, put it in a garage. His work took him to Singapore, so he left the M3 in its garage in Italy, and it stayed there.
I'm speechless. The condition of this car is proper
because
museum condition.
This 1995 M3 has fewer than 3,000 miles on it. It is time warp stuff. You'll never find one like this. It's proper find another.
It is proper find another. And the thing is speaking to specialists, the E36 is the hardest M3 to buy in good original condition because they rotted more than the others, and then they hit a price point where they got tramp drifted a lot and modified badly. So finding one of these is hard.
None of those things have happened to this, and as a result of that, and as Jonny says, the rarity of these cars in unspoilt condition, the guide puts this at somewhere between 80 and 100,000 pounds. But again, I remind you, try and find another one like this.
Try and find another. The other thing to point out is the dealer that the chap bought it off sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger saying the woman's name Jenny. Say it.
Jenny.
Jenny.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Good commando.
I don't know how to follow that. Oh, over there maybe.
Yeah, that way. Right. we have to look at this because it's wonderful.
We have to.
We have to. There's actually a couple of Z Datsuns here, or
Yeah.
Zs, depending on where you come from. But this one here is a historic rally prep car, as you can probably see. It's sort of a homage to the Africa Rally cars that were successful in the 70s.
Yes.
This is lot 135, and this car has been upped actually to a 2.8 litre, was a 2.4, 240Z. It's about 250 horsepower, and it was used for historic events up until about 10 years ago. Its FIA papers have expired, but it needs the disc brakes at the back changing back to drums, a couple of other little tweaks, and it'll get papers again to go racing, playing, whatever. And it was a rust-free American shell, despite it being a right-hand drive car. So it's been built on a shell.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. This looks
30 to 40k.
usable, I would say.
I love it. I think it's
No, I like this, but there are many other likeable things. If we go over here, 911 Resto mod there, not a Singer. It's by Rint Vehicle Design. So guide is about 100 grand. If it was a Singer, it'd be 10 times that probably.
Yeah.
No, almost a Singer, a backing Singer. But what I really wanted to talk about was this. It's
For sure.
Weissman MF5 GT. So the hard roof version of the Weissman Roadster. Couple of cool things about this.
Yeah.
First of all, this has the V10 out of a BMW M5.
Yeah.
BMW usually a bit picky about people using their M-Power engines.
Yeah.
They gave Weissman a bit of a pass on this, I think because of the quality of their engineering. You look at these cars, they have no arch gaps and really low profile tyres, but actually your physiotherapist would be untroubled by this. The ride is really good. They were properly done, these Weissmans. And this is right-hand drive, which is weird because it was ordered brand new in Germany by a German gentleman. But I guess because it kind of evokes an old British sports car, he thought, well, I'll have the Britisher wheel position as well.
Morgans sell a lot to Germans, don't they? So
They do.
For sure, there's a British fascination.
For sure, the fascination.
This one is guided at, deep breath,
Yes.
180 to 220,000 quid.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, but they don't make Weissmans anymore, and this is a 20th anniversary, and I believe they only made 20 of them. They
Yes.
say this is probably the only right-hand drive 20th anniversary one,
You're not going to see another.
and it's a bloody V10
I know.
engined.
No, that's a bit good.
Masterpiece.
But speaking of a bit good,
Yes. This is a bit mad.
I think this is quite cool. This is a Dino 308 GT4, not a Ferrari, hasn't got any Ferrari badges on it. That's how it's supposed to be. It came from the factory because it was the sort of runt of the litter. But they're great. Bertone styling, quite modern, I think, because it's kind of cab forwards. Predated the Pininfarina 308, the Magnum car. But these are great. And this is an original right-hand drive UK car. Not many of those around. But because these aren't quite as appreciated as the ones driven by a man with a moustache that your mum fancied, this guide's at £30,000. And for that money, I think I would.
I absolutely would. I've been looking at that thinking, a Ferrari of that era that's right-hand drive in good condition that apparently drives really well. I've not driven
I've driven one.
And you said that they're pretty cool.
It is not as vintage as you would think.
Well, I'm game, but this is a car that we have to talk about because it's a race car that I'm slowly becoming more and more fascinated and obsessed with. Because this is a 1965 Lotus Rotavic 23B, 1.5 litre V12. But you can see from its big nostrils here, things are not as they seem. This is the maddest engined car probably out of Goodwood.
Yes, I think so.
Air-cooled, two-stroke, and it's made of 6 aerial motorcycle engines that are twins, upright twins, to make Siamese together effectively. And we'll show you the pictures of the engine bay, to make a V12. It is so bonkers. Obviously quite an experimental car using these aerial motorbike engines. Ariel was a British bike manufacturer back in the 40s, 50s. This thing did make its debut in '65. It was never quite finished. It was never competitive because the rules changed.
Yeah, so they went from 1.5 up to 3 litre, and that sort of nixed it, unless they could find more motorbike engines, make a V24, but sadly no.
But what a fascinating thing, 1.5 litres, V12, air-cooled, two-stroke. I'd love to strike this up now, but everyone would go deaf and die. So
Well,
it won't.
I asked someone from the auctioneers what this sounds like running, and he said, the devil.
Yeah.
So I imagine it's quite extraordinary.
Yeah, I mean, we can't talk about all of the details of this, but it guides at 75 to 95,000 pounds. Whoever buys this, please can I drive it? I would absolutely love to know what this thing feels like.
But also a Dodge Viper there. It's just worth mentioning because that is a UK car. There's not many of those. It was ordered brand new in this country. It's still left-hand drive, but other Viper things remain. It's still got a Lamborghini developed V10, guiding about 45 grand. So, you know, if they're from very, very complicated to very, very simple, take your pick.
8,900 miles from new.
Yeah.
I'm making eye contact with it, so I think...
No, don't, because if you do, it'll start spinning across the room. So best leave it. Also, I want to show you something that I think is very special.
For sure.
Now, as an MG Metro owner myself, I'm naturally drawn to MG Metros, particularly if they're like this. It's a 6R4, you probably knew that, but not just any 6R4. It's had a full nut and bolt restoration. It's been put in tarmac spec, as you can see from the lower suspension.
Yeah.
It was sold as a clubman car, so a customer spec car, but it's since been upgraded with works diffs, works steering, and the engine is now to international spec, so Group B, with about 400 horsepower. But that's not what makes this particular car really, really special. The first owner was Tom Walkinshaw of TWR, and it's believed maybe that they were using it to figure out that V6 engine in the back, which was adapted for the Jaguar XJ220.
Yeah.
But the truly exceptional thing is who owned it after that, because it was Colin McRae. And he didn't buy this to go rallying professionally. He was already driving for Subaru at that point. He bought it for his own amusement. When he did the Colin McRae Stages event in 1998, he used this as a course car. Apparently there's footage of him drifting it around the gravel.
There are, yeah.
Which is just fantastic to me. It still has a V5 with his name on it, from which I've just learnt today, Colin McRae's middle name was Steele.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that.
Steele McRae sounds like a detective series that should have happened.
Should have. It could have been a spin-off from Taggart. But anyway, this to me is just fabulous.
It's, I mean, they guided at $250,000 to 300,000 quid.
But Johnny, what is money?
And we know how much those engines cost to rebuild, and we know how much those Dimag really rare rims are. It's great.
This is MOT'd, road registered. Apparently it's turnkey and go.
It's wonderful. And it's a completely different car to the one I want to talk about over there, which is famous from a film that involves skidding.
Oh, yes.
This is one of two, and it's a really, really odd, and I remember it was odd at the time. I think I was working on Max Power when this went on the cover. This is a one of two Mazda RX-7 FD series. You can probably see that, but it's been completely rebodied by Veilside.
Yes.
The coach builder in Japan. Very, very odd. It's sort of like the Zagato of JDM world.
Yeah, okay.
In a way.
I'll run with that.
But this is an actual movie car from Fast and Furious 3, the Tokyo Drift.
Yep.
This was used as a car, but not a drift car.
I gathered this was like the hero car for close-ups and things. So this obviously was Han's car in the film.
Yeah.
I was told that they built a total of 7 for the movie, but 5 got trashed in stunts.
That would figure.
2 left.
Yeah.
1 a bit ragged. They are very emphatic in the listing. This was not used for drifting. This was the close-up, pretty shot car.
Probably the nicely built one. What they're trying to say.
Well, exactly.
So I mean, obviously, they you know, like RWB Porsches now, where they're really extreme and mad, and they're quite divisive.
Yeah.
This is kind of what Veilside were doing back in the 90s and early 2000s. This car came over to the UK in 08, and it's been over here for a long, long time. As the film, the popularity, the legend of Fast and Furious has continued, that's why we're seeing this car here with an estimated value of $250,000, so the same as that, $250,000 to 350 grand.
That is quite remarkable,
It is
isn't
an enormous amount of money.
But
you've got to understand, like, when the Fast and Furious franchise started in 2001, that's now over 25 years ago, and the nostalgia is hitting people who can afford this sort of thing. This is to another generation, you know, the Bullet, the...
Yeah, this is Herbie or the Bond Lotus.
Yeah,
this is an icon. So in that context, and genuine movie used car as well, apparently around the place you'll find little handwritten notes as they put, you know, marked the car for movie production. So it is the real deal. In some strange way, 250 grand seems like it's an achievable amount.
Well, you know, you've got the NOS bottle there, you've got the screen and the DVD player on the passenger side, which totally dates it. and it's in really good condition. So what
Yeah.
are we to judge?
I know, exactly. Maybe one of the stars of the show, I think.
And also it shows that this is the sort of era which people are craving now.
All right, well, sadly, that's all we've got time for from here in the Bonhams auction tent. We'd love to speak about every single car in here, because God knows there are some beautiful things, but unfortunately, there's simply no time. We're basically being thrown out now. So, but before we go, I just want to say I think it's really interesting the sort of shift that's happened, particularly this year, in the age of the cars and the type of cars that are going through here, including that fantastic Veilside Mazda, movie icon, and that M3 with fewer than 3,000 miles on it.
It's unbelievable. And it is, people are going to be offended that we've just walked past an SLR 722.
There simply isn't time.
There isn't time.
And I'm still thinking about that Metro.
Thanks for watching.
Haven't got time to say goodbye.